here. At GetUp, members have been telling us for a long, long time that climate change and renewable energy is their #1 priority. We have decided to focus our ReEnergise Australia campaign in 4 key marginal seats across the country to provide an opportunity for the sitting MP to be our clean energy champion in Canberra. Why marginal seats? Because we know that politicians listen to what people in marginal seats are talking about. And the voters have spoken. You've managed to speak to 1,700 people across this electorate. Of the 1,700 that have been spoken to, over 1,600 people signed our petition across this electorate. That's a pretty powerful message just standing right there on that page. You should be proud, and I think Mr Tanner will be very keen to see the results of our hard work. Of the identified ALP voters that signed our petition, 85% said that they would change their vote if the government didn't take strong action on this issue. Action on climate change will create hundreds of thousands of jobs. In Australia, we've got the technology, we've got the resources, and we've got the skills to make this happen. You know it, we know it, and the people across Richmond and Kensington know it too. A polluter lobby such as the Australian Coal Association that have spent millions of dollars to spread the idea that action on climate change will cost jobs. But we know that transitioning to an economy powered by renewable energy will create jobs, and that's what we're here for today, to send that message loud and clear to Mr Tanner.
I do remember a time when politicians looked for issues which they could get hold of, which they could tackle, which they could show leadership, which they could show vision and boldness. Why is it that we hear so much talk about it and we see so very little action? Possibly it's because they don't believe the science behind climate change. If the issue is that they don't believe the science, I'm sure that we could all refer them to 100 scientists, to 1,000 scientists who could give them the answer. Maybe the issue is that they don't believe that there's a practical solution. If that's the case, I'm sure that we could all point to experts who can give them the solution right here, right now. And in fact, in this crowd, we have Matt Wright from Beyond Zero Emissions. They have got a plan on how to transition Australia to a carbon neutral economy in 10 years' time. So maybe they don't believe that there's any political will for change. If that's the case, we have an answer. We've got a number. What is that number? 85%. Polluter lobby is a very powerful lobby. They've got an awful lot of money. But at the end of the day, and there's my first cliche for the speech, more powerful than any polluter lobby is the ballot box. The power of an electorate that is frustrated, angry and disillusioned will be effective only if it's translated into action in the electorate. And I can tell you, from the number of doors that I've knocked on and the people I've spoken to who have said to me, if they'd known then what they know now, they would have considered who they voted for a lot more carefully. We've invited Mr Tanner along this evening. Unfortunately, he couldn't be with us this evening. However, we're very lucky because we have someone who looks very similar to Lindsay Tanner. Actually, that's slightly scary, I have to say. Okay. So the first thing I'd do is I'd like to thank Mr Tanner for coming along this evening. First question. Climate change is obviously an urgent issue for lots of people. Is it for you?
Oh, there's plenty of issues that are floating through Parliament House at the moment, and the environment is certainly one of them.
Excellent. The emissions trading legislation is being introduced to Parliament soon. Do you agree that the concessions made to the big polluters is going to make it ineffective?
Oh, I think we're doing our best to ensure the future of our children.
Do you think they're kids?
Okay. Are clean energy jobs important to you?
I think all jobs are important to me, and I'm definitely after keeping mine.
I'd like to introduce some other guests as well. These are surprise guests tonight. We've got Etty, Clive and Persient. Would a party's policy on clean energy influence whether you would vote for them?
I'd have to consider very carefully about voting for a party that didn't create jobs in renewable energy.
Definitely.
Most definitely.
Can I ask you who you voted for in the last election?
Labour.
Labour.
Green.
That wasn't on the script, I have to tell you. So, Mr. Tanner, can I ask you, did you hear the message that these people are saying?
I'm quite sure that they're quite going to vote for Labor again. I hear they're Labor voters.
Okay. Now, I don't quite think Mr. Tanner heard the crucial number, do you? No! So, can we just repeat that number, please?
85%!
Okay, Mr. Tanner, did you hear that then?
I heard a percentage of people in my electorate might change their vote, but there's always people going to change their vote. Part of the deal.
85%!
Excellent. So, Mr. Tanner, can I ask you now, do you think you're getting the message?
I think I'm getting some sort of message, yes.
Okay, so what I'd like to do now is finally try and get the message through.
1, 2,
3,
7, 8,
9,
10, 11, 12,
21, 22, 23,
24,
30, 31,
32, 37, 38, 37,
48,
49,
50,
51,
52, 53,
54,
55,
76, 61,
62.
63, 74 and 75,
76,
77,
81,
82!
83, 84, 85.
No smoking stacks, indeed. Give it up.